Okay. What is going on, everybody? I'm going to wait around and see what we get anybody getting on here. Nobody's on yet. I know it's 10 a.m. on a Sunday, so a lot of you guys are probably maybe still asleep. I got a notification on my phone. Today, I was basically just going to go over what I've been doing because I haven't put any videos out. I told you guys, last live stream, I think it was, that I was going to have a video up on a Malibu that I repaired, that I had injector. Wait, I don't know if I told you that yet. Anyway, injector stuff going on. Now I got my cat back there meowing. She's real vocal. I got another cat over there. You can see on the back of this truck. And then my dog is back over there somewhere. He's back in the leaves over there. Will you be quiet? Gosh. Why are you so loud? Why are you so loud? Okay, so what do I have going on? I've got this tow truck over here, this red one that you guys saw videos on. I need to get this thing done. This customer's been very patient with me. He wasn't in a big rush, not in a rush, but I obviously need to get moving on it. It's unbelievable the amount of work I've gotten. I mean, I had a customer base already before I went on my own back in November, but it's just myself and then the size of my shop. I can't have several projects in there. It's just basically 1.5 bays. And so when I'm not working on something big or I need to get something else in, I have to pull one out, pull it out, and then it sits there and then find time, okay, depending on what work comes in, to then start on it again. And so the goal is to get back on that one here in about a week or so. This truck back here I bought, when did I buy that? In 21? I think it was. This one actually, if you remember seeing the news, tornado went through Jeff City, Missouri, and this was at a shop, a friend of mine, that he repaired diesels at his shop, but a lot of times he just kind of did it part-time, but he was a good technician, and so customers a lot of times would say, hey, go through the truck, do what you need to do, and he'd do weird things where he would buy the truck from the person and just go through the whole thing. That way he didn't rack up a bunch of labor, and he'd and nickel and dime them. Basically he'd do a bunch of stuff and then sell it back to them, more money, but with everything fixed. And he did that with a lot of people, and it worked out really well for him. Well, the bad thing is right when the tornado went through, he was switching insurance or something, and this thing did not get covered under insurance. So I ended up buying it off of him. It did have a bed when I bought it. I sold the bed off of it. It is a 2001, 2001, 2002, 7.3. The windshield's busted out of it. Something fell on the roof. So you can see the roof is messed up there. And basically it was crushed down. They used a forklift or something, Bobcat, to push the roof up. That way they could get inside. The engine's he had just gone through the engine. And so the engine's, this thing can sit for 6 months. I throw, I charge the batteries, I start it up. The thing purrs perfect. Even with some old fuel in it, this engine is primo. And I think it's got, the transmission's been rebuilt, but the odometer shows like 400,000 miles on it. And that engine is awesome. It's got, if you guys have ever seen this, let's see. It was not built with it. No, I think that was, I was thinking it had a different air filter box, but it does have a better one. The early 7.3s had an air filter box that did not seal very well. And so you could dust the engine pretty quick. And so that has a better one. They make an upgraded one. I was thinking it was the upgraded one that you could get. It has an air filter similar to the 6-liter in it, and the 6.4. But no, this is a nice running truck. Very nice. And so what I did with this is I've got another truck on the other part of my property that a friend, that one's a 2099 or 2000 F450 with a dump bed, and it caught on fire, and he bought that from the guy. And so it needs an engine, harness, basically everything in the engine bay. Well, this one's perfect. So I sold this to him, but I'll be doing all the work of swapping the engine over to the F450, all the wiring harness. A lot of the interior is probably junk on this thing, just because it's been sitting for, I think that tornado was in 19. So what is that? Past 4 years. It's been sitting with windows open, getting rain and junk. Right now my cats end up using it to hang out in. Let's see what else I got over here before I show you the burnt truck. This past week I was kind of MIA from anything, and I have a customer that I do a ton of work for. This one that has the car collection, and this truck, several months ago, he wrecked it. Lady pulled out in front of him. He swerved to miss her, ran off the road, and then corrected and actually flipped the truck. As you can see, it's messed up good. But it had a 6.0. It's a 05, 06. The engine, transmission are in great shape. And he went to the auction and found an 04.5 truck. And clean, super clean truck. Only bad thing is at the leaf spring front end, but it'll do fine for him. So he was driving it for a little bit and ended up getting inspected, and went to another shop, and they noticed that I hadn't looked the truck over yet, but they noticed that there was fuel in the coolant. So doing some inspecting and looking at it, all the coolant lines were swelling and soft. So thankfully he bought this truck back, and I've pulled all kinds of stuff off of it that we'll use on other trucks. If he buys another truck, he likes these trucks, so we'll save a bunch of stuff off of it in case we run into issues on other trucks. But in basically a day and a half, I yanked the engine out of this one, put it to the side, pulled the new to him truck in that was leaking fuel into the coolant, and pulled the engine out of that, and then put that engine in the 04.5. And basically I started in the morning on what was it? I had to have it done on a Wednesday. I think I pulled that truck in on like Monday night and did a few things on it, started draining the coolant. But Tuesday morning, I really got going, got it all pulled out and everything, and had that thing run by Wednesday noon or so. So worked out. This is the engine out of that. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. It's a complete. I'll probably put good cylinder heads on it. I've got a set sitting over there. You can see it's just a mess in my shop. I'm slowly cleaning. Yesterday I worked on this on the workbench. I need to work a little bit underneath here, put things over in that area. I need to clean up that. I got a pile of scrap here I need to take out, but I'm slowly working at cleaning up my shop, and I'd probably like to paint the walls. I think I need to refresh it and kind of make me like this place again, because I don't enjoy spending a lot of time in here, but it's also small. I think once I build my other shop, it would be better, but I don't know what I want to do with this. I don't know if I want to fix it and then just use it in something of mine, because I got that King Ranch, or what. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out. This car behind me right here is actually, just to update you on this thing's weird. It's Fox body, but it's an ASC McLaren. This thing's actually extremely rare. And the cool thing about this is it's got kind of a Mercedes convertible top, where you unhook from here, you unhook back here, this, you fold it up, you raise this, if you can see this body line here, you raise this up, and then you fold the convertible top into that pocket, and then you close this back down so it hides the convertible top. It's actually pretty cool to see. There's no back seat in it like the Fox body. It's just a plain 5-liter, nothing fancy. I mean, he's got the Cobra intake on it and stuff, but the reason that I have it is he had work done to it at a shop over a year ago, and I had to get tuning right on it, and working with another guy that really knows these things. He and I went back and forth, and he helped me with tuning. I did some of it, but I'm still learning. I just don't get a ton of time to sit down and devote a bunch of time to tuning like I'd like to. And with all the emission stuff going on right now, I'm trying to learn the proper ways to do it, because it's not just, telling it to add more fuel and add more spark. You have to do it methodically to where you keep emissions in check and keep everything lined up, just because it's a smart way to go in my eyes. It's just a better way. So the reason it's back though is we needed to do a new mass airflow sensor. He went with bigger injectors. I'm fighting a problem right now because the thing will be running, and then you can feel it hiccup, and you're watching the data log, and you can see there's a timer in the PCM. Once the engine starts and runs, it starts a timer, and it'll max out at 255 seconds. Well, you can look over, and that's reset. And sometimes the engine will barely run. We're basically just chasing a weird issue in it right now. Once I get that lined out, then it will be done and off to him. I need to spend some time on that, probably today. Let's see, anything else in here? I don't think so. Nothing here. My cat was being loud again. Oh, she's skittish. I don't know what her deal is. Let's check comments real quick. Chris Jimenez, I have an 0460. It starts, but pedal does nothing when I press it. What do you think it could be? So the pedal is just an input to the PCM. It doesn't actually control a throttle or anything like older gas engine. You got to think of it like a modern drive-by-wire. It's just an input to the PCM. So if the truck runs and starts fine, nothing going on there, you could have an issue with the throttle itself, either wiring or the throttle itself. So basically you need to check codes, and I can't remember, but I think the throttle pedal codes, you can't always pull with just a generic OBD2 scanner. You need to get one that can actually pull manufacturer codes, and that way you can actually read, and then you need to read data, because you need to look at the accelerator pedal positions and actually see if they're reacting whenever you push the pedal. You said 04. I believe they were known for chafing wires by the shock tower. Was it the shock tower? It was somewhere under the hood. They were known for chafing wires, but I think those models were also known for the throttle pedals going bad, and you actually need to put an updated one. And I don't always recommend going to O'Reilly or something like that, because they don't have the true updated part usually. Usually they have one that's Dorman basically goes in, and I don't know what they do exactly, but they don't always work. So if you want, email me at chrisbpowerstroke.com. Let's go through some diagnostic and see what we can figure out, and I'll try to help you out and get you straightened out on that. Let's see what else. I'm having a bad turbo surge. Just put in a new turbo. Seems worse. Okay. So you had a surge before. You could have. When's the surge happen? Is it when you let out of the pedal? When you're accelerated and then you let out of the pedal? Or is it surging as you're running down the road? So, let me find set my coffee down. I forgot where I put it. I'm a coffee junkie. Now that it's getting cool out, I'll usually drink coffee all day long. Okay, and I got my Mazda sitting over there. I stole parts off of that for that Mustang to make sure things are running right. The reason I stole things off of that is, I think I had one short thing on it. But years ago, God, I think my wife and I were dating, so this would have been, we got married in 13, so it would have been like 2010, 11, 12. Oh, it's nasty in here. I installed a 5-liter out of a 98 Explorer, and then I converted it to distributor, and I stole the cap. Man, this thing I got to pull in, and it's nasty. I don't know, maybe it's rotting away. Anyway, so 98 Explorer 5-liter, 93 Mustang PCM and wire and harness, converted it over distributor from a coil pack ignition, which I thought at the time was a good idea, and I wish I would have kept the Explorer. It's just a more modern ignition system and actually easier to tune. But whenever I was doing this, I was not into tuning, and I didn't have the knowledge on that. So you live and you learn. You do things, I'm not angry because the thing ran awesome. I actually had very little problems with it the way I built it. Transmission on it is a 93 F-150 manual transmission and transfer case. And so that thing holds all the power I throw at it, basically. Let's see. What else I got? I got an 86 F-150. Customer brought me, family member, actually. And it's got tire went flat. It's got a 351 Windsor, I believe it is. It's not a Cleveland is the very desirable one. Where did this go? Oh, I gotta push down. Okay. So this came to me on there, and right now it's basically just a stock engine, stock cam. He wanted fuel injection put on it, and you can see it's got a Poly Sniper throttle body, fuel injection setup. The wiring doesn't look great right now. I'm gonna fix some of that. Basically, it's pretty much ready to roll. I need to do a couple other things, but then he wants to add air conditioning to it, so I have to then source a air compressor or AC compressor. It'll end up going right here. I've got to get the bracket and everything, and then I've got to figure out the box over there, because this has got a weird setup, and I'm having a real hard time finding a box with a evaporator core in it. So JJ, you're getting the surge under acceleration. Is it check your, what is it? If you have an exhaust back pressure sensor that is plugged, the tube is plugged or the sensor is plugged somewhat, then it will not give good constant reading to the PCM, so it may then cause the vanes to move and cause some surging. Some people think turbo surge sometimes is the turbo, when in reality sometimes what it is injectors that are weak and are not firing properly, so you get surges, and sometimes it can be a rhythmic surge that you're thinking it's something. You can watch the turbo vanes, and they move with it also, but it's hard to say exactly what it is. You're gonna probably need to do some digging and probably watch some data to see what it is. Let's see. Live chat. Replacing both. Oh, EBP sensor. Don't just replace it. Guys, you got to do diagnostic, because that's what everybody, I always see tons of people. They're always like, I've thrown tons of money at this thing. It's such a pile of crap. Diagnose it. Go over it properly and diagnose it. Figure out the problem. Don't just replace parts. There's times where I spend a lot of time diagnosing, and I'm looking at something and I'm leaning towards something, but I've spent a lot of time testing and going over stuff, and I will a lot of times, well, my truck down there, I take parts off of it to try on somebody else's truck. Everybody has that luxury, but find a friend that's got a 6.0 that's got the same exhaust back pressure sensor as you, and swap them out, or use data, use a scan tool, and look at the data on his truck compared to yours. See what it's doing. That's sometimes you just have to compare stuff. I got a customer. I'm not going to show you the customer, the F-150. I think you may have seen it kind of walking by. It's an 04 F-150 I've got that I put an engine in several months ago. It's a 543 valve, and the engine was shot in it, so we got a reman from, I forgot where it was, and seemed like a very nice reman, but now it's knocking. But is it, I haven't really, he brought it up here, I heard it kind of knocking, but could it be a flex plate? Could it be something else that sounds like a knock? Yeah, I just haven't spent time on it. I'm going to. Then I got this 06 Maserati Quattro Port, I think it is. And that is the customer that's got a car collection. That has got to leave here. Well, that's a no start, so that one's going to be real fun. And trying to figure that out. Maserati workshop manual information is very hard to come by, and you have to, easiest thing to do is buy it from, or rent it from them, or buy it for, I think a year subscription was over $2,000, and 3 days was like $250, and it's probably gone up since then. But there you can see my dog. His name's Greco, like gecko, but add an R, Greco. And we didn't name him. We adopted him from actually one of my renters. Oh, I've completely, you guys probably didn't even, probably notice it, but I didn't say anything. My rental house is gone. It's finally been moved. You guys probably saw some pictures on a thumbnail on my post yesterday for this live stream. That we sold it back in May. It finally got moved in October. They've still got to come and take the decks. And take the decks. The foundation will be there. And that is going to be a new location for a bigger shop for me. So we'll get, hopefully in the next year or so, get, I don't know if I'm going to get a loan, but with interest rates as high as they are, I probably won't get a loan. I'll probably save up, get a bid on concrete work, save up, get the concrete done, and then put my coffee down. Do the concrete, save up, and then save up for the building and do that, and then do a lot of the work on the inside just to save money, because the last thing I want to do right now is take a loan that has a 10% interest rate and pay, way more than I should. So, okay, so let's see here. I got several cars over here on my property. I own 20 acres. Here, my wife and I own a field here. I've got another 2 fields back behind. You can kind of see it through the trees there. And I cut this. You can see we actually got a second cut on this field for the first time this year, which is very nice. This year just worked out to be nice and wet. Around here it stayed wet through that I could actually get a cut in, and I'm finally getting used to my baler, and I'm actually getting some good bales out. This is my little Focus that I usually drive around. It's an 04, and I am not driving that right now because the Malibu is done. So once the Malibu is sold, because we plan on selling that, then I'll go back to driving this thing, which I don't know if I want to. That thing's pretty ready. This is the burnt truck that my friend bought. That there's the battery. It's got a dump bed on it and everything. So you can see. I don't know if you guys can see. Let's see if, yeah. I don't know, dash. The only bad thing is it's been sitting and raining on it, so yeah, the floorboard's wet. I don't know what that is. I bet you some of this, I bet you it's melted in there. It got so hot, but the interior will take. And I was telling you guys the other day about this truck. I think on the last live stream that I bought something and we'll start doing things on it. I bought this truck. It's an 03, 04 leaf spring front end, and I'll go over the price that I bought it for. And my goal on this is first it was to take the engine out of it and put it in my King Ranch that I walked by earlier, and basically get my King Ranch running, and then I could work on a lot of other stuff, but then build the built engine that I made some videos on, all the parts I'm gathering for that. But I just want to get it running. But now, since I've got another engine, I buy this and then I fall into another engine. It's unreal. This one, I think I'm going to make videos of making it run. I bought it from another diesel tech. I don't know him. He lives somewhat local to me. He went to a local tech that he worked, and he worked on a bunch of 6.0s, but I've spent a ton of time on these 6.0s, so I have a lot of knowledge on them. But I want to make videos over fixing this thing, because this is going to be the stuff that a lot of you guys spend 10 grand or more. And so you find stuff like this that, it's got some rust, but if you can source a different door, fix the rocker panels, there's new beds. This one obviously is not. I don't even think this bed's originally from this, but it's rusting out. Got a ratchet strap holding the fuel tank underneath there. And this is going to be stuff like you guys are getting. You find a truck, that a video and thing in the shop, start making videos of the process I go through on figuring out what's wrong, the problem, getting it running, just going over everything, just to help with proper diagnosis, because that is the big things on the 6.0s, on any diesel really, that most people don't do. They have a problem and they talk to everybody and they go, well, what could it be? And so they start throwing parts at it. And let's say, hopefully it's probably in better shape than this one, but say you buy it for $2,500. Well, say you think it's the turbo. You think the turbo has got an issue with something without in your range. And so you have, you put injectors and high pressure pump, you got over $2 grand in it. Well, now you got $4,500 in the truck and it still doesn't run. It's one thing if the truck starts and runs, but if it doesn't run, you got $4,500 in it. Now it's basically a $4,500 paperweight. So that's stuff that I want to help you guys do. Let's see if anybody left a chat. The Ace of All Trades, you watch that series. I think people really like it. So I think people enjoy that. This Excursion over here, it's got a 8-inch. I installed the lift years ago on it for this customer. I think it's 6 or 8-inch BDS lift on it. 37-inch tall tires. 6-liter Power Stroke. But it is here because he's in prison. And so, long story, but his family was driving it, and it seemed like every couple months they'd get a hold of me and it'd be broken, and they just didn't maintain it. They tried, but it just the way that truck is, the power that it makes, there's nothing fancy with it, but they always leave it on the biggest tune. So it's always run hard. Every time I would see it around town, it was like a drag race from the stop sign. And so I felt really bad for him that it was being treated that way, and he asked me to keep it out here, and I have no problem doing that. So this is another friend of mine. He needed a place to keep this. He really likes Crown Vics, and he started buying a bunch of Crown Vics at auctions, and then he moved to a new house and didn't have space. And so I think that one needs a fuel pump. He's thinking it needs a fuel pump, so that needs to get dragged up to the shop soon. I think that's pretty much it of all the stuff I've got going on. I've slowed down taking on other work just because I've got all of these projects going on that have been sitting, and a lot of the customers have been extremely patient, and I really appreciate that. And so I'm trying to make sure now I get to it. I'd like to get a lot of them done before the end of this year. So that is one of the reasons I haven't made any other new videos, is because a lot of the things I was doing are just regular repair that you guys are going to see on any other YouTube channel. And I don't enjoy making those videos, because if I get bored or I'm not excited editing that video, making that video for you all, it's not going to show. I hate being that fake YouTuber. Hey guys, what I got here today is it's a coffee cup. Right here's a coffee cup. This coffee cup is different than any other coffee. No, it's not. It's the same goddamn coffee cup that everybody else has. I get so, it's just that over enthusiastic stuff for just mundane stuff that you guys aren't going to enjoy. I'd rather do these live streams to keep you guys up what's going on, try to keep stuff going so you can see it and everything, rather than just make junk videos to fill in the time. But no, these are the things. Hopefully the first of the year or spring really is when I get to spend a lot of time focusing on the projects. I have some ideas on parts for 6.0s that would fix problems that are common. I think I said this in the last one, but I have a couple ideas for issues with the high pressure oil system on 6.0s that it's kind of common on other engines, different style engines, but I want to make much better permanent fixes, because there's a lot. One of the headaches with a 6.0 is there are problems on those that are common issues that basically are considered maintenance that should never be maintenance. Once you go and repair the high pressure oil system, O-rings, they're maintenance items. It sucks. I agree. And so a lot of that can be done with good maintenance, but you can't buy these things really new anymore. Even a reman engine, it seems like as they get older, you can put all new parts in them and they still tend to have the issues. So I want to make some parts that people can forget about some of those issues, and it's not as big of a maintenance burden on you and even myself. So I will test it out on me, and then I'll probably make some parts, and any subscribers that want to try it, and we basically test it out and see how it works for them, and then maybe take it to market and offer it to people, which would be really cool. So let's see. No, not super chat, live chat. But other than that, I think that's about it. I just kind of wanted to do an update. What are you all up to at all? A couple of you chimed in with issues that you're having on trucks. You guys doing any repairs to your trucks or maintenance? Anything like that? I wish the chats would stay up. I don't know how to do that. I'm not smart enough for this. It's so funny how I have to stay up on technology on cars to understand them and everything. And when it comes to my phone and some other technology computers, I get very frustrated because I don't know, I just don't care to actually learn I think it is. I guess I just focus my knowledge of staying up on the things I need to. There's a lot of other stuff though that I spend so much time trying to learn things. I'm trying to learn some new stuff to repair things on cars right now. I'm trying to learn how to repair circuit boards on cars in modules, and programming to where you can clone a module. I want to do that stuff because there's a lot of these vehicles. Always hearing a diesel go by out by me, out in the middle of farmland, which I love, but there's always diesels running around. But I'm wanting to basically get to where I can repair modules for customers, for my customers, because there's so many times that I see that the manufacturers, well, I witnessed this firsthand when I was working at Ford, the Ford dealership, that they would maybe 4 years after the vehicle went out of warranty, they no longer supported a module in the vehicle. And so the customer was screwed and then had to source a module somewhere, and it didn't always work out real well. I always felt bad for the customer, and I felt that there needs to be places that offer that. There are, but sometimes they're hard to find, and I want to start doing that. I think it'd be a good idea, but we'll see what happens. So let's see. I think somebody commented. Oh, geez. What happened to the piston? Is it like the piston I had? Did you have a nail fall into the cylinder? 6.0s. I've not seen many cracked pistons on a 6.0. Usually, if there's a cracked piston, it's due to some pretty extreme tuning, and it's not like the 6.4. The 6.4 was known for. Then again, that's probably due to fueling too, but I don't know. So, well, people are chiming in a little bit here, but nothing much. So, thinking about ending it since I've gone over all the vehicles that are around here. This whole area back here, I got a bunch of oil jugs I got to take to a friend that has a oil burn heater in his shop, and so I'd love to get one, but they're ridiculously expensive, and even the used ones are expensive, and you don't know if you're buying one that works. A lot of people can't hook it up to show you, but this whole area back here was filled with cars a week ago, so I'm very excited that is not full anymore, and I can focus on other customers' projects that I've had for some time and get that taken care of. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. I appreciate everybody chiming in, and everybody getting on here, watching for a little bit. I think they subscribe, or people viewing went up to 4, dropped to 1, and it's back to 3. But I understand that 10 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday is tough to figure out, but I just wanted to update you guys, and I had an opening where I could do that today, and it was actually a nice day to walk around and do that. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.